Hello, this is Indy, and I'm late on RPG A Day number 9. The question is, beyond the game itself, what does it take to make an outstanding session? Gonna try a new thing here. Hopefully this works. First thing is, hopefully that worked when I edit that in later. If it did not, the first thing was laughter. Maybe that qualifies as in the game, but that just makes a session. I feel like not necessarily every session, but a lot of sessions need a really good laugh. Sometimes the laugh can come from a weapon fumble, a pun. I don't really care if the jokes are in character or out of character. In character is even better. Um, and accidental sometimes is just the icing on top of the cake. Uh, and I don't have my notes with me because I'm behind and I'm recording this on my lunch. So I'm kind of going off the top of my head. But the second thing was referred to by, I think it was the Complex Game Apologist. I hope I got that right. I'll annotate it if I'm wrong. Uh, was players who come to the game prepared. And I don't mean they've got the character sheet, they've got their dice, and if they've got dinner, if they want dinner, they've already gotten it. I mean players who are aware that this is a contiguous story. From session to session, this is a contiguous story. I hopefully don't need to remind them what happened, or at least retell the entire previous session, or what they're doing, or their goal in life. Players should come to the table knowing this, ready to refresh each other's memories. Um, I once had a note taker, a journaler in my party, in my player group, and that was nice. She was able to recap well for us. Um, Unfortunately, she also went too far. She recorded how much damage each person did on each attack. That's not necessary. Third thing, and this might be more of an overarching kind of idea that feeds into the second idea and controls my first point of laughter, is a love for the game. Now, I don't expect new players to have a love for the game, uh, but people should be there to enjoy role playing. Um, One of the most dangerous things for a group that say meets monthly is if they are genuine friends, and this is the time that they can find to get together, and they've chosen to do role playing with that time, is that a lot of the time, both at startup and interspersed through the session, will be taken up with catch up, catching up on each other's lives, telling each other interesting stories that happened, which is fine. They're friends, and I want them to have that community, but I really want the role playing time blocked off for role playing. So maybe the real point here is if your friends have time outside the game to do your socializing, so that when you're at the table, you're mostly there to role play. You don't spend 30 minutes ordering dinner. You don't spend too much time at the beginning just saying hi and catching up for a little bit before you get going into the game. That when you get sidetracked with an off-topic joke, or oh hey, this reminds me, that the sidetrack is very succinct, um, and that the time that you have is for role playing. If you can set aside 6 or 8 hours for role playing, and you really only intend to get through a 4 to 5 hour session, that's fine. But at least for all the people that I know, when we find 3 or 4 hours to set aside, that's really all we have time for, is 3 to 4 hours. And I find any role playing session less than 3 hours is almost not worth having at all. Throw out a board game, play some Isle of Skye, play some uh, Agricola, whatever. but the time could be better spent. Um, or not going out at all because I'm kind of a homebody. um, so if you've only got a limited amount of time scheduled and that time is scheduled for role playing, I want people to have enough love for the game and enough open time in their schedule that that they can focus, that they focus on the game for a majority of the time. I feel like I've been a little rambly, so I'm only going to include one more point, and that is that the players need to have a vision for the future. That makes the events and the choices in each session more meaningful if it's something that they've built up to, and they lay the groundwork for anticipation or what's the F word? Foreshadowing for future events. And that makes every session meatier, tastier. You don't have filler episodes, if you will, when you've got the eye on the future. I think that's also really important. If you'd like to join in on RPG a Day or find other people's responses, put them in the link below. I invite discussion down below. Put yours down here if you think that I would be particularly interested, or yeah. Have a good day, and I'll see you for the next RPG a Day or one of my Twitch streams.